Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of GoSpeakly English podcast. I'm Sophie, and oh my goodness, I am so excited for today's topic.
And I'm Daniel. Sophie, you're literally glowing with excitement today. What's got you so pumped up?
Daniel, today we're talking about something that literally everyone needs to know. How to talk about your job or your studies in English. I mean, think about it. This is probably one of the first things people ask you when you meet them, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like whether you're at a party, meeting new people, or even just chatting with someone in a coffee shop. One of the most common questions is, so, what do you do? Or what are you studying?
Exactly. And you know what's funny? So many people get nervous when they have to answer this question in English. They know what they do, they're confident in their work or studies, but when it comes to explaining it in English, suddenly their mind goes blank.
I've seen that happen so many times. People sweat, they stutter, they use really complicated words that even native speakers don't understand. It's like they forget how to have a normal conversation.
Right? And that's exactly why we're here today. We want to make this super simple, super natural, and honestly, super fun. Because talking about what you do shouldn't be stressful. It should be exciting.
I love that. So if you're watching this right now, maybe you're a student, maybe you're working, maybe you're doing both. This episode is going to change the way you talk about yourself in English forever.
Absolutely. And hey, before we dive into all the juicy details, if you're new to GoSpeakly English podcast, welcome to our little English learning family. We're all about making English learning fun, natural, and super practical.
And if you've been with us before, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Trust me, every single video we create is designed to make you more confident in English.
Yes, and you know what? Today's episode is going to be packed with real examples, real situations, and honestly, some funny stories too. Daniel and I have some interesting experiences to share with you about job interviews and study situations.
Oh yeah, we're going to keep it real today. No boring textbook English, just natural conversational English that you can actually use in your daily life.
Perfect. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's jump right into part one. All right, so let's start with the absolute basics, okay? When someone asks you, what do you do? What's the simplest way to answer this question?
Well, the most basic structure is super simple. I work as a, or I'm a, and then you say your job title. For example, I'm a teacher, or I work as a software engineer.
Exactly. And for students, it's even simpler. You just say, I'm a student at, and then your school or university name. For example, I'm a student at Delhi University.
Right. And then you can add what you're studying. I'm studying business management, or I'm doing my degree in psychology.
Exactly. And here's a little tip. If someone asks you, what are you studying? You can also mention what year you're in, like, I'm in my second year of engineering, or I'm a final year medical student.
Oh, that's helpful. It gives the other person a better picture of where you are in your academic journey.
Exactly. And you know what else is really common? People often ask students, what do you want to do after you graduate? So it's good to have an answer ready for that too.
True. You could say something like, after I graduate, I hope to work in marketing, or I'm planning to pursue a master's degree in data science.
Perfect. See, Daniel, this is why I love these conversations. We're giving people the exact phrases they need for real-life situations.
I know. And honestly, once you have these basic structures down, talking about your job or studies becomes so much easier.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about something really important, tone and confidence. Because it's not just about what you say, it's also about how you say it.
Oh, this is huge. I've noticed that when people talk about their job or studies in English, sometimes they sound apologetic or unsure, even if they're really successful.
Yes, like they'll say, oh, I'm just a teacher, or I'm only studying marketing. Why are we using words like just and only? Those words make it sound like what you do isn't important.
Exactly. Your job is important. Your studies are important. So when you talk about them, own it. Be proud of what you do.
Right. Instead of saying, I'm just a receptionist, say it with confidence. I'm a receptionist at ABC Company. I'm the first person clients meet when they visit our office.
Yes, see how that sounds so much better? You're not bragging, you're just stating what you do with confidence and clarity.
Exactly. And this applies to students too. Instead of saying, I'm only in my first year, you can say, I'm in my first year of engineering. I'm really excited to learn about robotics and automation.
Perfect. That sounds enthusiastic and confident. And you know what? People respond so much better to confidence and enthusiasm.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to talk to someone who sounds bored or ashamed of what they do. Energy is contagious, you know?
So true. All right, let's move on to some specific vocabulary that's super useful when talking about jobs and studies.
Yes. So one really common phrase is, I work for, and then the company name. For example, I work for Google, or I work for a local marketing agency.
Right, and if you want to be more specific about your role, you can say, I work as a, like I work as a graphic designer, or I work as a customer service representative.
Perfect. Another useful phrase is, I'm responsible for, and then what you do. For example, I'm responsible for managing social media accounts, or I'm responsible for training new employees.
Nice. And for students, you can use phrases like, I'm majoring in, or my major is. For example, I'm majoring in economics, or my major is international relations.
Exactly. And if you're doing a specific project or research, you can say, I'm currently working on, like, I'm currently working on my thesis about climate change, or I'm working on a group project about artificial intelligence.
These phrases are gold. They make you sound professional and fluent, even if your English isn't perfect yet.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. You don't need to memorize hundreds of phrases. If you master just 5 or 6 of these basic structures, you can talk about your job or studies in so many different situations.
So true. Okay, let's practice with some real-life scenarios. Sophie, imagine someone at a party asks you, so, what keeps you busy these days?
Oh, that's a nice casual question. I would say, well, I'm an English teacher, so most of my time goes into preparing lessons and helping students improve their communication skills. It's challenging, but super rewarding.
Perfect. You answered the question, you gave some detail, and you ended with a positive note. That's exactly how natural conversations flow.
Thanks. Now let me ask you, Daniel. Imagine you're meeting your friend's parents for the first time and they ask about your work. How would you respond?
Okay, so I'd probably keep it simple and respectful. I work in digital marketing. I help businesses grow their online presence through social media and content creation. It's a really exciting field right now.
Excellent. You were professional, but not too formal, and you showed genuine interest in what you do. That's perfect.
Thanks. You know, I think the key is to match your language to the situation. If you're at a formal job interview, you might be a bit more professional. If you're chatting with friends, you can be more casual.
Absolutely. Context matters so much. And that's actually what we're going to talk about in part 2, how to adjust your language based on who you're talking to and what the situation is.
Yes, we're also going to cover some common mistakes people make and how to answer tricky questions about your job or studies.
Right, because let's be honest, sometimes people ask questions that are a bit awkward or difficult to answer. We're going to show you exactly how to handle those situations with grace and confidence.
I'm excited, but before we jump into part 2, let's do a quick recap of what we've covered so far.
Great idea. So in part 1, we talked about the basics of introducing your job or studies. We learned simple structures like I work as, I'm studying, and I'm responsible for.
We also discussed the importance of confidence and enthusiasm when talking about what you do. Remember, no more saying I'm just a or I'm only studying.
Exactly. Own what you do. And we practiced some real-life scenarios to show you how these phrases work in actual conversations.
Perfect. So if you're feeling good about the basics, you're ready for part 2, where we're going to dive deeper into more advanced tips and tricks.
Yes, this is where things get really interesting. So stick with us and let's move on to part 2. Welcome back to part 2, everyone. I hope you're feeling more confident already about talking about your job or studies.
Yes, and now we're going to take it up a notch. We're going to talk about how to adjust your language based on different situations and different people.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, the way you talk about your job to your boss is different from how you'd talk about it to a stranger at a coffee shop, right?
Absolutely. It's all about reading the room and adjusting your tone and vocabulary accordingly.
Right. So let's start with formal situations, like job interviews, networking events, or meeting important clients. In these situations, you want to sound professional and polished.
Yes, so instead of saying something casual like, yeah, I do marketing stuff, you'd say something like, I specialize in digital marketing with a focus on social media strategy and content development.
Perfect. Notice how Daniel used words like specialize and focus. These are more professional and show that you're serious about your work.
Exactly. And in formal situations, it's also good to mention any achievements or responsibilities. For example, I manage a team of 5 people, or I've successfully increased our sales by 20% this year.
Yes, but here's the important part. Don't overdo it. You want to sound confident, not arrogant. There's a fine line between sharing your accomplishments and bragging.
So true. Nobody likes someone who just talks about themselves nonstop. The key is to share relevant information and then show interest in the other person too.
Exactly. So after you introduce yourself, you could say something like, how about you? What do you do? Or, I'd love to hear about your experience in this field.
Perfect. That shows you're not just focused on yourself. You're genuinely interested in having a conversation.
Right. Now let's talk about casual situations, like when you're meeting new friends, chatting with neighbors, or talking to someone at the gym.
In these situations, you can be much more relaxed and natural. You don't need to use fancy vocabulary or talk about your achievements.
Exactly. You could just say, I work at a bank. It's pretty stable, keeps me busy. Or, I'm studying psychology. It's fascinating, but definitely challenging.
Yes, and in casual conversations, it's totally fine to add a bit of personality and humor. Like, I'm a software engineer. Basically, I sit in front of a computer all day and try to figure out why things aren't working.
I love that. See, that's natural and relatable. Most people can connect with that kind of honest, lighthearted approach.
Exactly. And you know what else works great in casual situations? Asking follow-up questions. Like, have you ever thought about learning coding? Or, do you know anyone who works in finance?
Yes, that keeps the conversation flowing naturally. Nobody wants a conversation where one person just talks about themselves and then silence.
Awkward silence is the worst. All right, let's talk about some tricky questions people might ask you about your job or studies.
Oh, yes, this is so important. Sometimes people ask questions that are difficult to answer, or maybe a bit too personal. We need to know how to handle those gracefully.
Right. So one common tricky question is, how much do you earn? Or, what's your salary?
Ugh, yeah, that's a tough one. Honestly, in most English-speaking cultures, asking someone's salary is considered pretty rude unless you're really close friends.
Exactly. So if someone asks you this and you don't want to share, you can politely deflect. You could say, oh, it's pretty standard for my field. Or, honestly, I don't usually discuss salary details, but the job is rewarding in other ways.
Perfect. You're not being rude, but you're also not giving them the information they're asking for. You're setting a boundary politely.
Exactly. Another tricky situation is, why did you choose this job or field of study? Sometimes people ask this genuinely, but sometimes they're implying that your choice is weird or wrong.
Yes, like if you're studying art and someone says, oh, but how will you make money with that? It can feel pretty judgmental.
Right. So in situations like this, the key is to respond with confidence and positivity. You could say something, I chose this because I'm passionate about it, or this field aligns with my long-term goals.
Exactly. You don't owe anyone a detailed explanation of your life choices. A simple, confident answer is enough.
Absolutely. Another tricky situation is when someone asks, are you happy with your job or studies? And honestly, maybe you're not. Maybe you're struggling or thinking about a career change.
Yes, and that's totally okay. But you probably don't want to complain too much, especially if you're talking to someone you don't know well.
Right. So you could say something balanced like, it has its challenges, but I'm learning a lot. Or, it's not perfect, but I'm grateful for the experience.
Perfect. That's honest without being negative. You're acknowledging that things aren't ideal, but you're also showing resilience and a positive mindset.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about one more important thing. How to talk about career changes or transitions.
Oh yes, this is something so many people go through. Maybe you're switching careers, going back to school, or taking a break from work. How do you explain that in English?
Well, the key is to frame it positively. Instead of saying, I hated my old job, so I quit, you could say, I decided to explore new opportunities in a different field.
Yes. Or if you're going back to school, you could say, I'm pursuing further education to develop new skills. Or I realized I wanted to deepen my knowledge in this area.
Perfect. And if you're taking a career break, you could say, I'm taking some time to focus on personal development, or I'm exploring different options before committing to my next role.
Exactly. All of these phrases sound proactive and positive. You're not making excuses, you're showing that you're thoughtful and intentional about your career path.
I love that. And honestly, most people respect someone who's willing to make changes and try new things, rather than staying in a situation that makes them unhappy.
Absolutely. Life is too short to be stuck in a job or field of study that doesn't fulfill you.
So true. All right, let's talk about some final tips for sounding natural and confident when discussing your job or studies.
Yes. So tip number 1, practice. I know it sounds obvious, but seriously, practice introducing yourself and talking about your work in front of a mirror or with a friend.
Great tip. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. You won't have to think about the words, they'll just flow.
Exactly. Tip number 2, listen to how native speakers talk about their jobs. Watch interviews, podcasts, YouTube videos. Pay attention to the phrases and structures they use.
Yes, and you know what? Our channel, GoSpeakly English Podcast, is perfect for this. We use natural conversational English in every episode, so you're already getting great exposure just by watching us.
Thanks, Daniel. That's true. All right, tip number 3. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. If someone asks you a question about your job and you're not sure what they mean, it's totally okay to say, sorry, could you explain that question again?
Absolutely. Native speakers ask for clarification all the time. It's not a sign of weak English. It's actually a sign of good communication skills.
Right. And final tip, be yourself. Don't try to sound like someone you're not. Authenticity always comes through, and people appreciate genuine conversations.
Yes, even if your English isn't perfect, people will connect with you if you're genuine and enthusiastic about what you do.
Exactly. And you know what? I think we've covered so much valuable information in this episode. I really hope everyone watching feels more confident about talking about their job or studies in English now.
Me too. And remember, this is a skill that gets better with practice. The more you use these phrases and structures, the more natural they'll become.
Absolutely. So our challenge for you today is this. The next time someone asks you what you do, use at least one phrase or structure we taught you in this episode.
Yes, and if you're feeling brave, share your job or study introduction in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and give you feedback.
Oh, I love that idea. Let's make this interactive. Tell us what you do, how you'd introduce yourself, and we'll let you know if it sounds natural.
Perfect. All right, everyone. That's all for today's episode of GoSpeakly English Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something useful.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.
And remember, we upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we'll see you very soon with another amazing topic.
Yes, until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep speaking English with confidence.
See you soon, everyone.
Bye!